Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the StarLadder TV I-League. My name is Blue. I'm going to be filling in today for the usual guys. Unfortunately, for the time being at least, I'm just going to be solo casting this map, so you'll have to excuse any mistakes in that regard. But anyway, that's not the focus of this. We're getting into the first match here. It's 2 best of 3s today, and the first one is getting started right here, right now. It's going to be Team EnVyUs taking on Dignitas in a best of 3 matchup. Obviously, pretty heavy favor over to the guys from Team EnVyUs, just through a pure amount of reputation sitting behind them at the moment. I would say a lot of people are going to be betting on EnVyUs, but Dignitas definitely been looking hard to prove themselves over the past few months. So we'll have to see how well they can do. And there hasn't been, there was definitely some strong spots for Envy when they got this new roster together, but we've been seeing some weak things come out from them over the past few weeks here. A couple slip-ups here and there, so we'll have to see how well things go. The first map, of course, is going to be over here on Inferno, because you couldn't already tell that. And then after this one, I believe we're jumping on a cobblestone for the second map, and the third map, if needed, is going to be over onto Mirage. And by the look of the knife run, it doesn't look like it's going to be EnVyUs coming out on top there, so they're going to get their start over here on the CT side. And as we talk a little bit more, too, just about who picked these maps and who picked these sites, as I take a look at that really quickly. And also to bring up the bans in case anybody is curious on that there, and it doesn't have the Half-Life TV page up in front of them at the moment. EnVyUs got the first ban. They ended up removing Overpass first. Dignitas took out Cash after that. Then EnVyUs removed Train. Following that, Dignitas removes Dust 2. And I believe we had the pick come out here. This is EnVyUs' pick. Dignitas picked the second map, which is going to be Cobblestone. And the third map, of course, being randomized back over there in Mirage. Now that who's picked that. So here we go, though. First round getting started right now. No fill-ins as far as I'm aware, so in case anybody's confused, I believe that Schnatter is, I think that's Schneider. Could be wrong on that. If I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me, but I haven't been told anything else in regards to a fill-in, so I'm just going to assume that's him with a really weird name. But here we go! It's a quick take over here onto the A site, but already Kiyoshima gooshing one of them. That's going to be Pip falling down very quickly. Apex grabbing another one, and oh my goodness! What a colossal failure on that pistol round there. Dignitas roll right in. They can't find anybody at all, and EnVyUs just absolutely shut it down right from the get-go there. Dignitas, fortunately, couldn't find a single target, tried to look for it, but the headshots came out so quickly from EnVyUs there. It just goes their way so quick. So there you have it, the first round already onto the board here for EnVyUs. They're going to be up 1-0, and Dignitas, after a bit of a very failed pistol round here, just trying to rush themselves onto the day site. That's going to be not too good of a confidence booster here to start these players off. And this nade, too, you can see that little bit of a nade stack coming out from Newbox. It's going to be NBK that tosses this one. It's both MSL and AZ pretty hard there, bringing them down to 64 and 47 HP, even with the armor, too, I should mention, on both those guys. So that's going to hurt, obviously, bringing them down very low. And not a whole lot of utility here for Dignitas. They go for the Tech Down Armor, buy up 2 smokes along with a flash over here on Kirby, so might be able to work a little bit of a take here, but overall the odds are not going to be looking so good considering what just happened to that pistol. And here we go. They roll right in. The smoke not going to be able to stop NBK from spotting him, and they actually get held up pretty nice. So NBK is going to spot all these players, and the rotates are already coming in. They know this is going to be a full commitment, and NBK is just picking them off left and right at this point. Pip and MSL already down. The response comes out from Schneider. He's going to be able to drop NBK at the least, but now Kenny S loading up another one here, and Happy finding one over there on a Kirby as well. Now we just see that last player there. It's going to be AZ. Tries to hide in the corner, but he's going to get shut down as well there by Kenny S on the way in. So Envy with a quick brown pick up there. They at the very least score the kill into NBK, but I mean, that was kind of expected with him being the only player stuck in the site itself, so it wasn't too surprising to see him going down. Nothing else being gained from that. No plan either, and it was odd because after they killed NBK, it seemed like they were in a slight situation where they might have been able to work a plan if they just forced for it, and if that was going to be their only goal going into that round. But considering the investment, I think they just wanted to play a little bit more slowly in hopes of them potentially being able to actually win out the round there. But with how things started, and with how once that take started again, that we already saw was NBK just pretty much unloading on them with the FAMAS. He already killed 2 players. They got the response out of him, but right after that, it didn't really go too far for that. And now Kiyo unloading on him with the shotgun. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Kiyoshima just goes crazy. So much money for him. He gets a 4K with the shotgun, and look at all the money he's got now. Kenny's going to buy it up, but to be honest, Kiyo could have just donated to him, and they would have had the same amount of money. So he's loaded up with that at this point, and what a first 3 rounds for Envy, as they're just running away with this at this point, and Kiyo's got all the money he needs for the next 2 to 3 rounds, potentially, if he just buys for himself. Oh my goodness. So, for Team Dignitas now, they'll go into their first gun round. Unfortunately, not a whole lot being gained in the way of kills and whatnot here as well, so Envy get out of those first 3 rounds very, very well, with I think only a combination of like 1 kill. Yep, that's it. Schneider so far, the only player that's been able to stack even a single kill onto the members of EnVyUs at this point. And as for the rest of Dignitas, they have yet to bring up anything here, so hopefully the gun round will yield a little bit more of a successful result for these guys. But I mean, you even look at what they've brought to the table here in terms of utility, and they don't have much in that regard either. They've, they got a couple smokes, couple flashes, but post plants and whatnot, mollies, none of that. They got nothing to work for in a late round situation here. So For what the smokes they do use and whatnot, it's going to be great to get them into the site, but unfortunately, if they don't use enough here, they're going to have to rely completely on their entry skills, and beyond that as well, if they use too much of it, then they're not going to have anything for post-plan, and EnVyUs are going to have a very easy time, I do predict, with the retake. But to start it off, Kenny's actually going to take a little bit of damage here, as he gets into a little bit of a fight near the mid-chokehold. Unfortunately, takes some damage from that, and has dropped down to 60 HP, but still alive and well for this time being. I should note, too, that Kiyoshima actually did not upgrade, in case anybody didn't already spot this. He didn't upgrade from the shotgun, he's still sticking with that for the time being, in case there is going to be a push towards his direction, and he might get a chance to work it, because as you can see, Kirby's right outside of this room at this point, and he's going to try to push in potentially here in a second, but at the same time, that timer getting down to 20 seconds, Dignitas not leaving much room for error here at this point as they try to work their way in, and now in comes Kiyoshima, spots one, misses the shot though, and that's perfect timing, but there we're going to see Kirby taking him out, but Kenny and Apex finding 2 more kills, and a third gets picked up there too, but Kirby still alive and well into this one, and AZ holding the angle back over here as well. That plant should be able to come off, and look at this, AZ just unloading with the spray, not exactly where it needs to be, so they're going to roll right up onto AZ. NBK shuts him down, and now it's just going to be Kirby sitting over here trying to hide away from Happy. He's picked up that up now, looking for the shot, and Kirby sneaking through as well. Gonna look for the shot into the cubby here, but as he moves it, he spots him, looking for the kill. He's gonna find it, and now NBK trying to sneak around to pick up the kill, but the timer goes lower. Kirby hides in the corner, and oh my goodness, Kirby with the headshot shuts it down, and Dignitas, they're gonna pick up the first gun round, and what a way to respond to it after things that did not go very well there in the first 3 rounds. Kirby just comes out with an all-star performance and picks up 4 kills left and right to shut down those players. So now they're immediately back into the ballgame as far as this is concerned. EnVyUs, though, with how strong their anti-ecos went, they still have plenty of cash left for the buy-up. Kenny's still going to have the op, and that's going to get donated, of course, over by Kiyoshima, who had $11,000 at the beginning of this round, regardless of his team losing it. So they're still in a very good economical position, as you can already see. And for the Dignitas players, they're not in the safe zone just as of yet. And even for them, too, you can see that, they're even in a worse spot on Dignitas, despite just winning the round there. Schneider's had to go for a Tech 9 buy-up, and MSL as well is stuck over on a Galil at this point with the rest of the players. Pimp still has the op, of course, and then AZ and Kirby with the AKs, but beyond that, it's still looking a lot weaker than what EnVyUs has in play here, so hopefully EnVyUs are going to be able to recenter themselves and get back into this before we see Dignitas starting to pick up quite a few rounds in a row now. But here they go. They get a pretty unrestricted access here through the mid choke point and out to Boiler as well. Not a whole lot of resistance coming in from EnVyUs onto this one. They're playing very heavily on the site. Same story for the most part here on Rap side, as Kenny's not very aggressively peeking that at this point. Didn't really try to challenge the mid approach either, but that smoke's going away, so he might be able to catch some. There we go. He's going to grab the offer. Pimp goes down. The flick shot to take down MSL. Almost gets the third over there onto Schneider, but finishes it off there with the second shot. That's going to take him down. And now you've got Kirby as well, trying to find his way out. Kenny can't find that shot, so at the very least he gets the intel in the position of Kenny, but he's going to re-smoke this one, use it to get out, but however that molly's going to go onto the ground. That's going to make it a lot harder to find as well. AZ, though, having much better luck elsewhere on the map now as he's made his way over here into the B site. But the problem is you look on the ground over here, and the bomb is sitting on the floor. So, unfortunately, regardless of Team Dignitas getting control of that B site, it's not going to matter here. Because, again, the timer's so low. EnVyUs obviously has no reason to, there's not a lot of impatience here when you've only got 13 seconds to worry about. So, they can just sit back and relax. And as for these 2 final players from Dignitas, it's going to be the saving game. They're going to sit back, look to save the AKs. And unfortunately for them, EnVyUs is going to get themselves right back onto the saddle as far as the round picks up targets, start breaking things up to 4-1. And that's another clean one, too, from EnVyUs, keeping all 4 players alive. And with the exception of their like smokes and whatnot, they actually don't. They still keep a lot of their flashes and whatnot in play, so the rebuys in terms of utility is not going to be that heavily for these guys. You can see pretty minimal investment for the most part. Players investing at most around 1K. And BK is believed going to get dropped a gun by some teammates there, and yep, that's going to be the case as he's dropped one by Apex. But beyond that, he's going to be the only player that spends the most rebuying armor and the kit and everything too, and he'll spend 2,700. So pretty light buy overall here from EnVy considering what they saved on the previous round. And again, this is going to break Dignitas as well. Thankfully, they saved the 2 AKs, so they still got a little bit to work with. But for the most part here, I'm not expecting too much else. And I mean, to be honest, that was all sort of Dignitas' fault when you look at that last round. They just go for a straight out raw take through the boiler area there, hoping they can challenge Kenny, but just kind of going out one by one there and almost feeding the kills to Kenny left and right. So that doesn't really give them a whole lot of room to push that Rap side if that was what they were originally intending to do. And they get shut down pretty quickly, so stuff like that is just not going to be able to happen. And obviously, again, there with the somewhat limited buy they had, I wasn't expecting too much in the way of smokes or anything, but you keep in mind there too that later smoke that ended up coming out from, I think it was Kirby, and they still had utility to use against that after the first or second kills come out there. But there we go, Happy's going to open it up with the first one, and a double up setup now, and Kenny gets that one through the smoke, shuts down Kirby as well. So already 2 kills onto the board here at this point for EnVyUs. And that's going to be definitely a vac-worthy shot, as that takes him out of the play. And for Dignitas now, already stunned at this point, going to work with the 3 players they still have left alive to try to find their way over onto the B site. Happy, waiting, probably going to try to time this one if they work their way in after a nade rolls out, but he's got a crosshairs, could connect it right now if he went for it. A little bit to the left, but the nade's going to go in, that's going to do some damage there. Doesn't do all that much, but there we go, NBK is just going to unload it. Happy pops right out with a pistol, finishes him off with his teammate NBK helping him out for him with on the site, and it's a quick cleanup as we expected there from EnVyUs to pick things up nice and fast. So, again, Envy with a pretty solid lead at this point. Economy for some of their players not in the most stable position as of yet, but thankfully they're going to get potentially this round and maybe the next one too to solidify that. I imagine with the cash and the investment from Dignitas, they're only going to do one save at this point, but still here. That should be essentially a free round for EnVyUs where they can stack up a whole lot of money. And we'll just have to see how that goes, as Happy's actually going to get challenged pretty quickly here with these 5 players. Going to rush right into his face. He's got to play close encounters here, so he might end up going down, but the Tech 9 just unloading onto 1, 2, 3, and 4. MSL is going to be the final player to fall here, and now it's just AZ. They're going to try to finish him off with the op. They're not going to be able to do so, but NBK's there with his pistol. That's going to take him down. You should note, too, that NBK only had this pistol this round and had nothing else, so that's a very, very nice save from him, and now he should easily be able to just go for another rifle if he wants to, which, there we go. That's going to get tossed his way, so... I was wondering if they were going to do it again. But as we mentioned before as well, Dignitas only needed to save that one round there. They're going to go right back into their rifle buy. No op, unfortunately, going on to any of these players at this point. But they do have a nice utility stack behind this as well. So, unfortunately, just these takes from Dignitas are very sloppy, to be completely honest. Not really going anywhere, and EnVyUs just seems to handle it quite nicely. The one round came almost entirely off of the hands of Kirby, just finding kills left and right there, and overall, a really good performance from him, and a bit of a script from EnVyUs' members there, but beyond that, we just haven't been seeing any of these members come out a big way. Still looking at 2 guys, Pimp and MSL, have yet to get a kill, and we're on the 8th round at this point. So here we go. Happy and NBK already finding 2 kills, and the rest of the team, they're not following up with it. That Molly's held the back, they got flashed too, and now we are going to see NBK getting a little bit too aggressive, but Happy pulls through, and he finds 2 more kills, shuts down MSL and Pimp. And now that last player, he's boxed in. That's going to be Schneider. He's going to get shut down very quickly by Apex as well, so not a whole lot else to mention at that point here. As again, it's just a textbook closeout from Envy. Shut down, lock in the players from Dignitas, don't let them go anywhere, and they go right back into another eco here. A little bit more of a buy coming into this one, unfortunately, so they're going to have a couple deagles and whatnot, but not a lot of armor behind it or anything like that, so still expect Envy, based on the way we've been seeing these ecos from Dignitas play out so far, still sort of expecting Envy to run over this round, essentially, and pick up an 8th point, and something has to really change up here from Dignitas, to be honest. That we talked about before, the pushes just aren't really going that well for themselves, and they're basically just running into their opponents most of the time, and we see too, they're basically just walking into these setups. Like, there's utility setups not where they need to be. They're trying to smoke in and whatnot, but they're just not in the right places. EnVyUs know exactly where to be at every single time, and they're just not countering this out well enough. I'm not sure if they just haven't done their homework in regards to what to work against Envy or whatnot, but again, that's just another situation. Obviously, weren't expecting them to be able to do too much there to begin with, but basically just walking right into 2 deaths once again there. We didn't see the other ones. There's a nice shot from Kirby, though. He's going to be able to, at the very least, shut down Apex, but now he's stuck down inside Mexico here. Happy's going to jump down, and he's going to find him, so that takes him down. And now we're sitting at 8-1 in the favor of EnVyUs. And I believe we're going to go into the first tactical pause here for Dignitas as they try to figure out what the hell is going wrong. And to look at the scoreboard here, too, you can just see it. I mean, granted, some of these members from EnVyUs haven't really had a chance to shine, but just look at Happy running away with this at this point. 15 kills is the highest fragger. Next player now is going to be Kenny S. And we've already seen those nice plays from him as he was sitting down. I believe that was back over there towards the mid-choke point where he went pretty crazy a couple times with 2 to 3 Ks. And then Happy's just been constantly getting fed with like 3 Ks consistently. In fact, I'm kind of curious, how many does he have at this point? So he has 2 3Ks. If the scoreboard thing is right, oftentimes it's wrong, at least on the servers I often cast on. But he's looking at 2 3Ks and 2 4Ks right now. So basically just getting fed kills, essentially, as he's been going absolutely crazy. And Keo, too, keep in mind, too, he had that crazy 4K as we go back to him with that shotgun, so the money just speaks for itself when you look at these players. Some of them, of course, that have been going down occasionally are looking at a little bit lower, but with 3 players in about a $2,000 range of being a max money, and especially with only like 6 rounds left, technically, technically with only like 6 rounds left here in the half, these guys are almost essentially good to go. If they make it through like 2 more rounds of this, then they're going to be in a sweet spot here. Whereas Dignitas, the only player that's been consistently able to find a frag or 2 here has mainly been over there on the Kirby. The rest of the guys we really haven't been seeing that much except for a couple of fluke kills. But there we go again. Kirby's going to open it up for his team. So he's going to at the very least be able to pick that one up. And they also have an op on the ground there too to work with, as unfortunately Kenny S is going to be the player that ends up falling. The bomb kind of on its lonesome right now, but thankfully Envy are not going to get too aggressive with this. They don't decide to push into these players, but they did have a 4 stack on the ace site, so this 1 death on a Kenny isn't going to matter as much. But there's Pimp with a nice shot. Going to be able to find Happy just before that smoke plumes. And that's going to allow them to find another advantage here at this point. Not going to rotate NBK off the site just as of yet. And it's for a good thing, too, because the rest of these players from Dignitas, they are going to start to pull out here. They're a little bit suspicious that the stack was heavy on this A site. So they move back over here towards Banana, and they're going to try to work a takeover onto the B site instead. And NBK, it'll be tossed onto him, currently from Emo corner, but going to try to rotate over to New Box to try and hold things off here. And he's going to have to watch out, as no one else is coming to support this as yet. Apex is going to press forward and try to check this, so there's plenty of time left too, so it's not really any sort of rush, but I think Apex has caught on to this one, and they're catching a signal, but now the smokes come in, and here we go. NBK is going to have to try and hold this, get some nice damage, shuts down the biggest fragger. Kirby's going to fall now, gets Molly to the corner, he's going to have to get the hell out of here, but now Apex comes in for support. Some of the attention's drawn, he pops out, finds MSL. There's Pimp with an op shot, though. He's going to be able to take down Apex, but keep in mind, Kyo is on the way, and behind Nubox, he's got no reason to worry about this one. Pimp is going to look to sneak up and maybe find him to bring it into a one-on-one, but there we go. He actually, NBK gets a little bit too aggressive, peeks himself right out. That plant might have to come out here, but he's going to look for the kill potentially, as Kyo has to sneak forward and try to stop that one. He's going to get himself into a good spot, looking for the shots as he plants in the safe spot behind Fountain, but nice shots from Kyo, just pops right up there, gets the headshot on the Pimp as he overexposes himself just a little bit. And what finally looked like a good round from Dignitas, there's some good things being built upon that, but still not enough in order to pick up a round. So Envy come out on top once again. Some good damage being done to bring down the money, but down 8 rounds this late into the half. As I talked about many times before, the money, getting an economical victory is not going to be enough. You absolutely have to start swinging some rounds together. As even though it is T-side Inferno, yes, that's very true, you still need to be able to pick up a couple rounds here in order to make it competitive. Something between like 4 and 6 would normally be acceptable for this sort of matchup at this point, but if they can't even get to that point, the odds are not going to look good, to say the least, upon switching sides. And already here, nice timing on the nade comes out from Kiyoshima, shuts down. There's a nice amount of damage to a lot of the players over here onto, or at least onto Schneider as they try to push in, but there will be a trade back over towards Banana, as Happy, unfortunately, is going to fall. At the same time, he picks up a kill onto AZ before that happens, and that other damage going on to Schneider as well, but the rest of the team going to try to push in. They spot the player by Spools, and that's going to be NBK. He picks up 1 kill before getting dropped by MSL. Now for the rest of these guys, too, trying to decide where they want to take this push, and we can see there, too, that MSL, he's still committed to try and push in, up a Grill at this point, going to go up against Kenny S. But it doesn't look like either of them are going to meet each other, and also, in just a second here, Apex pushes forward, some damage connects from that nade. MSL not expecting that at all, so he just rolls right in, and that shuts him down. And now the rest of the team, they're going to try to go over here around Rap side. Kyo might be able to catch this, potentially, if he pushes forward, but Schneider actually changes his path. He brings Schneider down just 2 HP, but he does pick up the kill over there on Kiyoshima. That's actually going to be Kirby that finds it. So 2-on-2, and again, I don't think EnVyUs have any reason to be worried about this. This should be a pretty casual retake for these guys when you just look at the odds at hand at this point. As they're going to push in, the positions are still fairly well established from Dignitas, so if they can pick up 1 kill, they're going to be good with this one, but already Kirby gets spotted out. Molly's going to get tossed into the corner. Not sure if it's going to be in the right spot or not, but that does force him back over there to the truck corner. A lot of time being wasted, too. Kenny's going to spot Schneider, and that Molly might actually do the trick and taking him down, and he gets out of there just in time, but he's going to get finished off anyway. Kirby, though, is going to pick up one of them, and Apex is looking for the finisher. Going to try to do it with a pistol, but so much time has gone by, and they're actually going to be able to hold that. That was actually really impressive from Dignitas. So they maintain the corner, they keep themselves up and going, and they actually managed to pick through with a second round at this point. And consider their the utility model that they had versus what Envy had going into that retake, that's a very surprising fact that they're actually able to hold that successfully. Envy was a little bit slow on the retake, and that obviously gave them a lot of time to get into their safe positions, but generally I wasn't expecting them to be able to hold that with, 1 Molly, and keep also expecting Schneider just down at 2 HP. I didn't think that he was going to be able to survive for as long as he did there, and it was amazing. He did take 1 damage from that Molly, in case anybody missed it, but was able to get out of there before the second tick ended up coming in, so he got really lucky in that regard. But now again, Dignitas are going to go for this ultra-aggressive strategy. They tried back on the pistol round, it didn't work out, but it pans out this time. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. MSL moves in, finds 2, but Kenny's on the site. He's going to pick up another one. Pressure gets a little bit too rough, though, and he gets shut down by Pimp. And now Happy looking for some more trades as the players from Dignitas, they get control of that site, and the rotates come in, but it's still going to be too slow at this point, as now they've got full control. The smokes come out, and this retake becomes very hard now that smoke is in position. Everybody from Dignitas should have all the time they need to get into post-plant scenarios, and NBK is going to have to try to work something here while Happy waits out this smoke, essentially. It'll be these 2 on site. Kirby again playing from his usual position from within inside the pit here. And I don't think, we'll see in a second, NBK does end up jumping outside the apartments and approaching this from a more direct angle there, but 2 kills coming out. That's going to be Happy and NBK picking up 2, and they see pushing into it, and NBK going for the ninja defuse there, not even going to be a ninja anymore as Happy picks up the kill on a Pimp. It's going to be a little close, but they're going to be able to sneak through with the defuse once again, and there you have it. 10-2 is going to be the score line now, with EnVyUs in a very, very good lead at this point, and overall a very secure position. And unfortunately for Dignitas, again, sneaking by with just this 1 little round there is gonna hurt them, to be honest, more than it helps them, because now their economy obviously has been reset once again. They're back down onto mostly just the pistols. We've got a Deagle or 2 in play from MSL and AZ, but for Kirby and pretty much everybody else in the team, it's P250s with very little utility or armor behind that. So Happy picking up another kill there is gonna shut down Schneider. The rest of these guys happy with this one, falling back, and Happy's actually going to get aggressive and peek that again. A little bit too happy at this point, as he's now down to 10 HP, but he's got the smoke to help him, and NBK jumps in there, and Pimp, accidentally, I believe, gets the headshot onto his teammate. They're going to fall back. NVK not expecting this push to come out, and regardless, Happy's going to be able to hold the smoke angle there anyway, so these ecos from Dignitas continue to just be very, very rough, as they just cannot seem to find anything at all. Not that we would expect them to, but still, hardly anything at all coming out here, and there you have it. Kenny S and NVK with the rotates coming in, just shut it down once again. And that'll be an 11th round now for EnVyUs, and this helps them again here too, because you can obviously note on the money situation that they were starting to deteriorate a little bit. Dignitas in the mid-round scenario was actually doing a pretty good job of, getting some good damage at the very least onto these players, as they were able to get a couple rounds here. Obviously the victory, and then bringing them down to just one player there on round number 10, along with the previous 2 rounds there too, where they brought them down to just about 2 players there. That is a nice job of reducing the money down to a very manageable amount, but now we're so late into the half at this point as well that unfortunately they've gone past that point. As they try to push their way in, it just doesn't go so well. Pimp and Schneider get 2 responses after EnVyUs had picked up a 3rd. Pimp finds another one, though, so they even it out for the time being, and Schneider pushes way through arches and finds a kill on NBK. Wasn't even expecting that, so it's all Happy to make this clutch happen there. Good flash connects over there to Schneider, but the pistol shots do not come out at all there from Happy, so Schneider's going to be able to shut him down. And Dignitas, again, will be ending up coming out there with that round, so they sneak through with a 3rd, and they'll be able to go for the buy. They get a free op off of the hands of this one, too, and that's going to go into the hands of Pimp. But still a full buy coming out here at the hands of EnVyUs. Nothing at all missing, and even a little bit of cash and excess there. So those guys are still looking very good. And they've made it through. As for the rest of them, Dignitas still trying to figure out their buy at this point there, as I think there was a bit of a mistake. Someone was supposed to drop for MSL, but it didn't happen. And AZ as well, still stuck down on a Tech 9 at this point, so he doesn't have a whole lot to work with beyond that Tech 9. But obviously, again, it's a Tech 9, so we wouldn't want to underestimate it too largely. But here we go. Happy's going to miss the opening shot. Isaac can get himself to the porch, looking for the kills there, and he's going to connect the headshot onto Happy as he rolls right in, looking for a second, but NBK is going to be able to find the response. Schneider moves in, though, also picks up the response kill on NBK, but Kenny S also here now, finding another one. More rolling in. They're going to try to stop this plant, but MSL is going right for it. The bomb is going to go down. The smoke's coming out here, too. Potentially a molly, as the players here are going to try to get themselves into post plants, and Kirby still a little bit behind. If EnVyUs got aggressive with this one, they could stop them before they're even at full strength and get all their players into post plants there. But the molly's going to fade out, or the smoke's going to fade out, and the molly will come down there from MSL. He's got a great lineup here. EnVyUs not being aggressive enough here with this at this point, as they're going to try to move in. Nobody sees Kenny S, so Kenny just rolls right in here from spools. He's going to pick up a kill. MSL tries to run, but he gets taken down. And now it's Kirby back over here. The timer getting very, very low, but we're going to see him go for this anyway. And that, as you can see, the defuse timer coming up. Kirby picks the first one, but Kirby trying to light up the second, and nope, he's not going to get it. So there you go. There's the end of the half, and we will see EnVyUs coming out on top there with a 12-3 scoreline in their favor, putting them essentially almost at match point here. And what a quick half, too. These rounds from Dignitas were just at least an attempt to be super, super aggressive, but unfortunately didn't really go too well, as I talked about many times before here. They did that pause obviously helped them out a little bit there in terms of trying to line things up, but still the overall execution there, overall of their takes was just not where it needed to be at all. Super aggressive, just weren't ready to go. Oftentimes we saw when they had utility, they just weren't using it to try to get themselves onto the sites, and I mean eco rounds were just all over the place. There's just nothing gained at all on their eco rounds, unfortunately. So those were essentially free rounds, and because of how heavily it was a shutdown, and most of the time too, I should mention, you just look at it, we're seeing a couple rounds here and there where they were able to get plants, but those were only happening in a very late situation once we had already seen EnVyUs establish themselves. And like I said, that pause helped them at least get to that point where they could consistently plant, but those earlier portions of the half, we just weren't seeing anything. But now EnVyUs just going to roll right in again, dominating so far on this pistol round. MSL finds a first opening shot, though, for his team, but Kenny as well picking up the response on this one, shuts him down, and just like that, it's down to Pimp at this point, who's stuck way over here by CT, and if he doesn't spot Apex in a second, he's going to pop right out, and it'll actually be Keo that picks up the final kill to shut him out, and EnVyUs will pick that up, and that pretty much seals the deal as far as I'm concerned. Dignitas would need to pull off one of these ecos to really make this a feasible opportunity for themselves to get back into this game. The next 2 rounds should probably go by the way of EnVyUs pretty easily, and then that would set them up to 15 points, whereas Team Dignitas, unless they can eco one of these rounds, which again, looking at the last half, is going to be very unlikely. Unless they can eco one of these rounds, EnVyUs will be at 15 points, and then you're looking at Dignitas having to win 12 rounds in a row, and I imagine Envy will go for a very aggressive buy strat here too, as they've often adapted in the past. Here we go, we're going to see that push comes out, and AZ just pick up the first kill, but MSL not going to have as much luck there, as Kenny S is going to be able to shut him down. The rest of the team prompting a movement here into the B site, and it's a big rotate that comes out here from Dignitas as well, but they're already pushing themselves in here. The smokes come out, they're already halfway into the site at this point, and Kenny S just pushes right through the smoke there too. He's going to pick up another kill onto AZ. NBK, also over there by construction, finds that frag over onto Pimp, and now it's just Schneider. He doesn't really have anything, he's got the 5-7 armor set up, so at the very least he can look for this flank, try to find at least a kill or two here to do some damage to the economy, and that's what he might try to do here with Apex in just a second, but at the same time approaching onto him. is going to be Keo, and Apex is going to turn back around. Doesn't actually get the kill into either one of them just yet, but swapping weapons. No Schneider. Unfortunately, you will not be getting that frag, and Apex will shut it down very, very quickly. So, there's that another round now, and again, just as we saw in the first half too, it's basically exactly as clean as we saw in the second half now as well for EnVyUs, so they just run it right over here. Dignitas, I don't know what's going on, man, but for that second map, they're really going to have to reground themselves at this point because EnVyUs have just looked like they're in really good shape for this one, and for Dignitas, a lot of problems surfacing. A lot of it just coming down purely to the aim as well, as I already mentioned, just the fact that on their T side at least, not being able to find the shots that were necessary. Thankfully, MSL is going to pick up a good one this time to start things off for his team, but it's traded out very quickly by Kiyoshima. And don't forget here, too, that we're still looking out an eco for the most part here from Team Dignitas, so not expecting too great, but look at this flank here from Schneider. Lines up one, picks up the first shot, looking for a second as he gets behind. I don't know how he got to this spot, but still, unfortunately, oh my goodness, Izzy picks up another headshot there, too, over on the Apex. So they might have an opportunity to do this just yet. I should mention that those 2 kills that he got there with the Deagle were traded back out there, so it's still a very close situation, 2-on-1. And the position from Happy, oh, Happy, he doesn't even notice that Pimp is sitting directly behind him at this point. And that is going to be a very swift end to that one that could have gone a completely different way, of course, if Happy had seen it first. So, Dignitas actually do manage to pull through with one of those rounds, and EnVyUs aren't in the safe zone just as of yet. Both teams now going to go into their big buys, of course, here at this point, with Envy having not really having to rebuy too much on that second, or that third round, I should say, if you do remember that, of course. And now as they go into this one, it'll be a little bit limited here in terms of what they've got on a couple of their players, but for the most part, they should have exactly what they need to work this take here at this point. As I mentioned before, in some of these rounds with Team Dignitas, though, no mollies or anything. So if they try to work for a slower take, then they're going to get out of position. But here comes Schneider. He's going to grab 2 in an aggressive push before Kenny S is able to shut him down. So they're going to start things off well for Dignitas. And they get the spot 2 on the bomb plant, so they can, or the bomb situation, so they can move more members from Dignitas over here to potentially counter that one out. Obviously, though, EnVyUs is going to try to play this one a little bit more dynamic. And that's potentially, you know, the bomb has been spotted at this point. They can play it back a little more, look for some aggression that would be coming out towards Banana due to that spot and whatnot. And they're not going to be able to catch anything just yet because they're sitting back. But Kirby testing the limits a little bit there. Almost gets spotted up by NBK, but thankfully he's going to be able to retreat. And they will have to split up the remaining players here from Dignitas in a 2-2 split. And even having NBK moving his way over here too to try to make some noise. Hope they're trying to ban out a rotation or 2 from Dignitas, but I think Dignitas are going to be pretty confident in this 2-2 split at this point. I highly doubt we'll see it moving, especially now that we can see Happy coming out there too. That should solidify things, but the bomb has moved its way back over onto the B site, and it'll be up to these 2 players here to try to hold things. But Kirby and MSL, as they try to work their way in. MSL sitting nice and patiently over here by the spools. NBK is not going to be able to connect that shot with him playing to this strap, and now he pops out, actually misses the opportunity at NBK, and they're going to work their way in here. The spray down comes up from Kenny S. He's going to pick up one at MSL, and now Kirby caught in a reload here in the corner. That was probably the worst time possible to go for that reload, but not much of a choice, unfortunately, and that's going to be a shutdown from NBK. Now the final 2 rotating in. No utility on either team to hold or retake, so it's going to be directly on the aim battle here at this point. NBK waiting for one to run and get some damage over there on Izzy as he's brought down to 74 HP, gets himself further out, and NBK gets some further damage, but Izzy wins the battle there, and now it's Kenny S stuck in the corner. He's going to pick up one. Pimp pushes in, Kenny S at only 7 HP at this point, but it's the same story for Pimp at 40, and Kenny S just has to play with a timer at this point. We don't have a defuse. He wraps around. He's going to try to fall back, but there we go. Kenny S closes it out, and that's going to be EnVyUs sitting up at another round here. 15 points on the board for them. And overall, again, from Dignitas, they come close, but no cigar, as has often been the theme here. Apologies, as has often been the theme here for most of this map so far. They just haven't been able to bring it out for themselves, and now that'll break their economy. They're back down onto pretty much a pistol buy. We saw them do some good work with this, and they were able to steal away that eco from before, as we had already seen, but unfortunately, I believe EnVyUs will be learning their lessons from it this time, and that was again due to some very sneaky plays from Dignitas. They were actually able to catch a lot of that out previously, but now we'll have to see again as EnVyUs potentially looking at closing it out, and overall here too, the odds are just not looking so good. MSL finds the opening shot, but Kenny S gets the response, and now they spotted Kirby as well, as Kenny S is going to push forward, picks up a second one from on top of the sandbags. They're going to bring them for a ruse, though. It's actually fall back further down. Banana, this is either set up smokes or just go for the A-site take, but here comes the smoke setup right now. And they're even tossing some of the guns away extra here, just in case Dignitas are able to hold strongly and they're able to get this response out. So EnVyUs even thinking about the long game, despite the fact that they pretty much have this in the bag at this point. But they'll actually play it fairly passively, not going to make the push. And again, there's good reason for this too, because Dignitas have been very good on those flanks. In the one round, we did see them pick up here this time. So learning their lessons very fast from that one and watching out for it. But they're going to do as I originally said. They're going to actually fall back from Banana and work a take over here towards the A side instead. Schneider, though, didn't actually take the bait on this full rotation just as of yet, so he's moved in to try and support it. And now the rest of his teammates are going to have to come out here. They should know the bomb is in place. So more are going to start to rotate in. They'll work for the flank, but now a 2-on-4. We do have Izzy working his way over there towards the library, but he's going to be smoked out initially. Kenny with an easy plant situation here and should be able to get it in a very advantageous position for his team, too. They just put it right out into the open. Graveyard's got a good plant for this. The Albert area's got a good plant for this, but it's not even going to matter as there's 1 and 2 kills, and that's going to shut it down right from the get-go. EnVyUs with a very good opening map here, 16-4 in their favor. And only one more map to go to close out this set. So Dignitas, of course, with a lot of problems, but we're going to have to see how they change things up for map number 2. That's going to be over on Cobblestone. And again, just a review here in terms of just what went wrong from Dignitas, it was fairly simplistic. I mean, T-side couldn't make entries for most of the half, and when they finally could, just couldn't close out a lot of the post-plant situations there either. They got close, and we can even see that the rounds they do pick up happen towards the end of the half, and the plants get very well for them too. So they do bring it back together to some degree, but obviously the first 2/3 of the half just do not go their direction at all, and are almost absolute shutdowns for most of the time from the members of Team EnVyUs there. I think the pause that came in needed to happen a lot earlier, and obviously with a 13-2 lead, not much else is needed there for EnVyUs to close things out in the second half. But guys, once again, we'll be right back with the second half here, or the second map, I should say, in just a few moments. As soon as the teams are loaded into it, we'll be joining you with that one, so stick around, and we will be right back with map number 2 here at the StarLadder I-League European group stages between Team EnVyUs as well as Dignitas.